Hello. Today I wanted to talk about how to grind at drawing, and I wanted to start off with some bullet points to begin. So, when you're grinding, the idea is to get better at the thing that you're trying to draw. So, you're going to want to be observing some type of reference to grind from, whether it's a photo or like something from real life. If you're starting out, you should try to focus either on simple shapes or simple objects. The other thing is that you have to determine whether you want to focus on just one perspective or if you want to focus on multiple perspectives. Because the biggest issue is like trying to, well, at first, is trying to draw the thing you want to draw in a single perspective. So you have to determine single or multiple. You could have fun with it. I'm not saying you have to make every drawing grind a slog, but just know that there are various ways to handle it. Now, the other thing is, if you are trying to draw something, say a plate, I'm going to draw a very simplified view of a plate. I don't like it. The other thing, ghosting lines helps. When I say ghosting lines, I think it's from Scott Robertson's book on drawing. What you do is like you have a point here, you have a point here, or if you're doing ellipse, you kind of draw without drawing, but you trace the path that you plan to execute. And you do that without actually drawing the line. It helps you get more grind experience in before you execute the line. Let me do that again. But take your time with it. The other thing is, if you do get tired from drawing, do take breaks. Breaks are important, but you also want to, you could time yourself into like 25-minute sessions if you want to. But breaks can be beneficial as well, so you don't burn yourself out. Yeah, they could be extremely beneficial to doing that. The other thing is, okay, back to the plate example. In the event, I drew a line here, but you could just as well ghost an ellipse or any other type of line or shape, and you try to get in the comfortable motion of drawing it before you actually draw it. And you could just like execute it like that. The other thing is, it could be beneficial when you are new, keeping a consistent drawing angle. Over time, I don't really rotate the page anymore, but you could if you want to. That could be a beneficial way, because when I first learned to draw, I was going from right to left. That was my comfortable drawing motion, and even when I was ghosting ellipses, I would be going from right to left towards my body. Other people may do left to right, but that's totally up to you for how you want to get used to that. The other thing is, I'm going to draw a plate, and it's a bad plate. And I'm also trying to show a little bit of the bottom of the plate. So the thing with this is that I messed up a lot of things. I'm not too big of a fan of anything. But the thing is, if you keep messing up the initial ellipse of the plate, which is like, representing the depression of the plate. It can be extremely beneficial to just practice that segment that you're struggling with again and again and again. I think there's also a bit of a reliance on gaining muscle memory. So you're probably going to be very bad at drawing whatever new thing you're drawing at, and you have to kind of accept that you're probably going to need to like bump out a lot of them before you can eventually do a good one. Like I'm just trying to draw the initial depression of a plate. And it could be a big challenge when you're starting out to even get something that looks good. I think a lot of my personal work looks a little bit better. When I am doing any of these videos, I think I do a heck of a lot worse, just because putting anything in front of an audience is a bit stressful, so I always keep that in the back of my mind. So the other thing is you don't want to grind for too long at any one thing, so beware long grind times. I mean, I think they can be beneficial, but when I first started, when I was just trying to gain muscle memory, I kept drawing lines again and again and again, and I felt like everything was just awful. And, eventually I kind of realized that I would make a daily practice routine for myself to try to encompass straight lines, S-curves, C-curves, ellipses, or like a variation, or like a thinner ellipse. And then I would also do like shapes of varying assortments. And there are other exercises you can like implement into your morning routine. But I found that by doing that, it kind of helps me practice stuff that I may not get to draw every single day. So I could then move on to more, or like drawing more complex things. That was like a definite big benefit. The other thing is you can like, I think it's important to be alert. Whether you're like, you're well rested, caffeinated, I don't know, or like, just get coffee or whatever, not too much. Do be aware, if you do have too much caffeine, it may make you too shaky, which it doesn't do it to me because I limit my caffeine intake, but I have heard from some people that they can't execute the lines that they want to because it just, it affects them too much. It kind of makes them a bit shaky, so do be aware of that. Do be aware if you are on like any type of medication, or like prescription medication or something like that, if anything can affect your hand-eye coordination, or if it kind of makes you shake a little bit. There are some things that are more difficult to avoid because of that, and even being aware of that can help you, I feel. The other thing is that I found really important is not stressing. I think a little stress is a good thing, because you do need to be able to spot your mistakes. I think being able to find your own mistakes in your own work is extremely beneficial, because other than that, you may need to pay for like a teacher or a mentor, and they could give you guidance on what to grind, or they can tell you how to grind, or they could say, you're making a mistake here and here, try to do another X many more so you can improve. But it takes a lot of time, so just accept that like, getting a sliver good at any of it is it's a long process. It's like, it feels like it just requires a lot of hand-eye coordination until you could eventually get to a point in which you're confident with it. But do know that it's possible, so I guess you could say be resilient, be accepting of critique, which I try to be open about. I know that not all of my stuff is up to par yet, but that's always the important thing to keep in mind, yet. that you can improve, that you're not hopeless with it, that it just takes a heck of a lot of experience. I feel like in our modern culture, and I could be wrong on this, but a lot of people kind of get in the idea that they need to be good right now in this moment, and they don't understand that a lot of things take a lot of experience to get good at. Like, as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and you have to accept it. There's nothing else that you can do. You can't download experience into your brain yet, but do know that it's worth it in the end. And I'm kind of breaking one of these rules that I set. I woke up really early today, so I'm kind of fighting a bit with exhaustion, sadly. So probably a lot of these are a good example why you should try to be alert and caffeinated, or at least well rested when you're doing this. I think a drawing session, you may want to time yourself with a grind session, just because sometimes I would get in the flow of doing it, and perhaps I would end up drawing a lot of ellipses that are just awful, and I wasn't really being aware of trying to improve. So, being aware could be beneficial. There's a technique, and I guess I'll write it to the side here, Pomodoro. I think that can help you when you're starting out. Even if you're in the flow of drawing, I think using something like the Pomodoro technique is still pretty crucial, because you do need to take breaks. It's just, you're eventually going to need to move your body. We are not made to be sitting all day or standing all day and drawing, and it's just something you need to accept and kind of get up and move. You need to eat, use the restroom. Just keep that in the back of your mind, as it's pretty important. But yeah, those are the main things that I would say are extremely important. The other thing, drawing from real life is probably a lot more important than I realize. I'm actually drawing in a book, which is really bad. You shouldn't draw from a drawing. That is probably an example of bad reference. So I would say use good reference. And I'm probably using a ton of bad reference, so to say. But, at least I could see that. But, like I said, it's important to just draw every day if you don't have the best reference available to you. Don't let that get you down. I think determining what to draw could be, very paralyzing, just to make a determination, and then when you try to draw it, not being able to draw it. There's a lot of, it could be a bit discouraging if you don't know someone who has gone through the, what am I doing? Okay, well, Control Z isn't working. But yeah, it can be painful if you don't know someone who has been through a lot of failures compared to yourself. I mean, I'm no pro yet, but at least I could spot a good deal of my failures. So yeah, if you do have any other questions about grinding, I do ask that you ask it below, or you could email me if you want to. If you like the video, please like it. If you have a question, please ask in the comments. Or if I can help in any other way, you could ask. So yeah, thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. Oh, I guess the last thing I want to say is that you may have to go through multiple grinding sessions of doing something like this until you pop out even a single good one. And you may pop out a good one, but then the next one you draw may be bad. So the other thing is, I think gaining drawing experience and muscle memory, it's not like grinding in a video game, in which if you gain experience, you keep it and you don't go back. So I do feel like the more you draw, the better. The less you'll atrophy draw every day, so you don't go through those atrophying experiences. Do draw from a diverse amount of material, because it's always good to challenge yourself. But don't get stuck grinding the same thing for too long. Just try to be smart about it and keep yourself in check, because I've seen myself going down the rabbit holes of grinding the same thing and getting a bit discouraged. But I think it did help me in the end, because I think one of the most important things when you're starting out is just trying to get that muscle memory, and maybe not so much trying to worry about drawing a pretty picture or drawing perfectly, because frankly you're not, and it's about the learning experience and the journey. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. I am a bit disappointed that I wasn't able to draw anything too good, or a good plate, so to say, but I do appreciate you listening to this little video that I wanted to make. I've been meaning to make this video for a while, and I just got around to it. But yeah, bye.